Oh, there we go.
Huh?
Hooray! It's working.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so welcome to this very special group episode of 12 Thoughts. What we have here is 3 people who have never met each other. So, our first question is always, who are you? And we'll just start from this direction and go in this direction.
I'm Bree, or BJC, Kimmy's friend.
I'm Steve, also Kimmy's friend.
I'm Declan. I'm also Kimmy's friend.
Yeah, actually we're sitting in this order of how long I've known you guys, because
Really?
I've known Declan the longest, Steven the second longest, and Bree is a very recent friend.
It's like
So,
the rings of a tree
It's
trunk.
almost like it's almost like we planned this, except that I'm like right here.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys too.
So where are we right now? That's always the second question.
We're at Kimmy's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
She's correct.
It is true.
On Kimmy's couch in Kimmy's living room.
Yep, with Kimmy's dog occasionally snooting up behind us.
Yeah,
She
she
has
was.
a name.
Yeah. And then the third question is, did anything nice happen to you today?
Yeah. I woke up.
That's always nice.
I made money. Yeah.
I went to the ice cream shop and I gave them money and they didn't just take it, they actually gave me my ice cream. So it was pistachios, that was pretty good.
Do you often have ice cream stores steal your money and not give you
No.
cards?
No, but no, I'm not gonna win. I'll just gently. But I figure there's always a first time stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I'm here and I had a good sandwich and I did improv and it's just nice.
Good stuff.
Sandwiches are awesome.
Sandwiches are awesome. So our questions come from the incomparable Themyscira Pimple House, who did our last interview. And the first question is, tell us about your first kiss.
Am I going first?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to jump in first at this point, like, whoever's got an answer ready.
I'll go first. My first kiss was Demetrius Johnson, and I was in 8th grade, and we were 13, and we were at my friend Katie Briscoe-Metzler's 13th birthday party. We were playing Truth or Dare, and I had, like, the biggest crush on him the entire school year, so I told my friend in secret to dare me to kiss him. So she did, and then we did, and I was over the moon. Then I found out the next day that he's actually dating this girl
Oh.
that
no.
I was kind of friends with. So, like, I never spoke to him really again.
That's a good friend, though, that
Yeah.
like was like, yeah, girl, I got your back.
Yeah, she was like, I got you.
How dare you to kiss him?
And I think we all had, like, a couple of us had our first kiss that night anyway. Get that. Totally cliche. But, like, to the dare party.
Mine,
right,
mine was
you know.
kind of
Yeah.
mine was kind of cliche, but in a different way. It was sophomore year. This was like the first person I actually ended up like dating, not just like middle school. Like I like you, and then we see each other for a week, and then never see each other again. But like we it was like this was our first day, and we ended up. It was my friend Zach, and we ended up going to this like school play. I think they were putting on Barnum, and after the show, it was like really pretty. We got out and it was night, but there was like these lights and like you could see like the snow falling, and then I don't know, we just kissed, and I was just like, that was really nice. So
Super cute.
yeah, it was really cute, and I look back on it and I'm like, that was a good first kiss.
So mine's kind of a long story, but I'll try to like. But so it starts off with I was in Beauty and the Beast my freshman year of high school. So some of this is like tangentially relevant. But I said I was pretty shy, and I said I want to be anything but the dancing cheese grater. When one of the moms came around to be like, what piece of dancing inanimate object do you want to be? And I was like, I don't want to be the dancing cheese grater.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. So
what they
Why didn't you want to be the dancing cheese?
because I was like, I'm so embarrassed. And what they heard was dancing cheese grater, perfect. Here you go. Yeah. So I went on stage and like bumping into people as the dancing cheese grater and
And it's
everything.
like a
Yeah, and like a
this
dancing
whole
like
thing.
yeah, like it was like made of like pool tubes and stuff and like spray painted and everything. Yeah. So I was like really embarrassed, and then we had like a cast party afterward, and I was just like really shy. So I went and like got my little sandwich. That was like Subway that was like catered or something. And then like I had a bunch of onions on it and stuff. And apparently before I did that, there was this girl that I kind of had a crush on, but like there were just like a few like older girls in the theater company.
Yeah.
So her friend who had a crush on me dared her where he had a crush on me, dared her to make out with whoever walked into the room next. So then that was me. So I just walked into this room after eating like dancing on stage as the dancing cheese grater and eating a bunch of onion sub. And then I just hear everyone laughing and I'm like, what? And then like she gets bumped into me and then starts like kissing me, except for I don't open my mouth.
Because you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna
yeah.
fix this a little bit.
Yeah.
There, continue.
So yeah, and then I walked away. And that was it.
And then I walked away.
That was my first
the,
kiss.
the dancing cheese grater onion kiss.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Were you still in costume? When
No.
she made out?
That would have been great. No.
That would have been weird if I went to the cast party dressed as the dancing.
I feel like I would have been like, this is why I was supposed to be the cheese
Yeah.
grater.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you
I'm
know,
looking
meant
for
for,
my-
you. Yeah.
Looking for my cheese. I'm looking for my great time.
That'd be funny.
Oh, hell. Okay, I have to actually just keep this open because otherwise I'm going to have to scroll past, 3 days of Themyscira conversation. Question number 2 is tell us about a time you experienced guilt. I'm actually going to just screenshot these.
I don't want to go first this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because I feel guilty a lot.
I feel guilty with my dog.
Yeah?
Like, every day.
Like, why so?
Because I work, like, so I'm a nurse aide in the morning and a server at night. And, like,
Oh.
I go home in the afternoon, but, like, tonight I got home from work and I'm getting ready to go out to come here. And she's, like, literally, like, howling at me. Like, Mom,
Yeah.
play with me. I want to play. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. Like, I don't know. She's such a good dog and she's a rescue. I feel guilty a lot when I leave her to go. Like,
Yeah.
especially when I'm, like, going out. Like, work is one thing, but when I'm, like, going out, I'm like, oh, I'm a terrible mom. Like, yeah. I don't know. Not very heavy, but
I get
that's
the
one
dog guilt,
thing.
too.
Yeah, like, that just happened, so.
I've been, like, doing a lot of stuff lately, and Teppy is so sad.
Yeah.
She just, like, she
It's
will
a
lay
parent.
her entire body weight on me to keep me home now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And she lays on my clothes. Like, I lay my clothes out on my bed, and she's on this kick of, like, laying on top of them. Like, maybe if I don't see them, I won't leave or something, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I just
also,
feel,
they smell like you.
yeah, it just feels so sad.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
wondering, because there's, like, lots of different levels of guilt.
Yeah.
There's, there's guilt, like, oh, I accidentally ate somebody's cookie. And then there's, like, deep existential, like, levels of guilt where you're like, oh, I feel bad, but, like, this is really personal, and I don't know. Like,
It's what do you feel comfortable sharing? It doesn't say
Yeah.
the time you experience the most guilt. It's just a time that you
yeah.
experience guilt.
Well, that's what I think is so hard, is the ambiguity of the question, because there's so much guilt.
Pick the
Yeah.
first thing that comes into your head.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
No.
I immediately went to like 12 out of 10 on the guilt scale, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
let's look for other
There was a
times.
time
There's got-
I
there's gotta
killed a
be
man.
other times. He deserved
You
it, or at least
too?
I thought he did.
Yeah,
No,
this whole...
actually.
Same
Oh,
guy.
I just lied in character.
Yeah, oh, yeah, me get same.
My bad.
What if, like, this whole thing is a ruse to get one of us to confess to murder?
I mean, you'd have to ask Themyscira about that, but
Yes, that's true. I guess I felt guilty all throughout high school because my teachers would, like, have big expectations of me, and I would never live up to them. Like, because I would just never do my work, and they'd be like, well, no, you're a good kid, and so I think that if I believe in you as much as I can, then you're really gonna do well. And, I mean, I passed, but, like, I don't know, I just felt like every teacher I had was just, like, a big letdown for them.
you're like,
Except
sorry,
unless
this
they're
just
like
isn't that big a priority to
Yeah,
me.
unless they were, like, a cool teacher that was like, hey, you tried your best, and, like, you put forth effort, even though, like, this is 2 months late, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, I felt, like, always that sort of, like, lingering guilt throughout high school that, like, everyone had expectations for me, and I lived up to none of them. Yeah. Well, I'm out of it now, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This one's like a 7 or 8 out of 10, which is like it's just like that would be notches.
Yeah.
There was a year where like I went to school and my girlfriend paid my rent for a year,
Mhm.
but like and I was trying hard at life, but she got the bulk of it. Like, she took the bulk of the weight,
Right.
and I didn't. So that still bothers me, and I intend to pay her back, but I can't right now.
Yeah.
And so it's not like that anymore, but it's definitely like you rightly feel an indebtedness.
Yeah, I guess so. That.
We're sharing gum now,
Okay.
along with guilt.
Yeah.
Oh, there's dares on the back of these.
It's truth or dares. We're not doing it right now.
What with a dish.
Oh boy.
Turn it into an Instagram story. That's boring.
I had some really funny ones with this. There was one night when Sean Francis and I were at the Meanwhile, and I'd been asking him gum dares for a week, and we were hanging out at the Meanwhile. It's like, make a collage of your greatest faults and turn them into positive traits. I'm like, dude, gum wrapper, that's heavy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's too real.
Yeah.
That was too much. Yeah.
I'm just trying to chew some gum, man.
5 gum.
Question number 3 is, tell us about your drug of choice. Bearing in mind that this is going to go up in public, there's a comfort level.
Yeah. Life.
Getting high on life. Or it can be just something else that makes you, feel up or whatever. But
Okay, I'll start. Sugar.
Sugar.
Like sugar in video games. I don't actually play that much video games, but when I do, I can get so sucked into it that other things matter. But I'll literally go to sleep and see and scream and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
Michael's doing dishes.
Yeah, and then
French fries.
Ooh, French fries. Sweet.
And then sugar's just, I have way too much of it. It's probably slowly killing me. Gave me a lot of trouble with my teeth. And my first word was cocoa.
Aww.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
I'll answer. Coffee but coffee for sure. I definitely have to drink at least 3 cups in the first 5 hours of my morning, and I drink it black and I drink it strong.
How do you make it?
I have a coffee at home. But I grind the beans. I buy beans, and then I grind those, so it's a little bit more fresh, but yeah.
Delicious coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Those are mine too. Is the one that I'll yell and the one that I'll whisper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coffee and marijuana. Which, by the way, my friend was talking to me the other day about he's like, I'm not using the word marijuana anymore because I looked into that word and apparently they came up with it.
Yeah.
They came up with it to associate cannabis with Mexican drug people, and they're gonna kill you and be terrible. Yeah. The word marijuana has a really racist history that no one ever used it before they made it up to sound like Tijuana and to make it sound threatening.
That makes me
because everyone was scared of Mexicans.
Yeah, that makes me not want to use marijuana as the name anymore.
I call it weed.
Yeah, I usually just say weed.
I say weed, or
Mm-hmm.
tree, or Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
So many words.
The devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
That was my favorite.
Cabbage?
Cabbage?
Bud. We should bring back sensimilla.
Sensimilla.
What?
Yeah. That's what I guess that's what they called it in the 70s. It's really good. Really good weed with sensimilla. Isn't that a beautiful word?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's sensemia or something.
I don't know.
Very interesting.
I'm trying to come up with an interesting answer because the obvious answer is weed, but I think when I'm home alone and there's nobody else and I can just scream and belt out the dumbest shit that comes into my mind without fear of people being are you okay? I think that's probably the most cathartic thing is when I can just scream or yell inane bullshit.
What was the most recent inane bullshit thing that you screamed and felt better for having screamed?
This morning, and because my sister went to driver's ed and my mom was working, and I was just wandering around the apartment, and I never really remember what I scream. It's usually just like dumb songs and bull. Oh no, okay, no, my little Chihuahua Tess, the really fat one, she took a poop and on the floor, and like I looked at it, and I was like, I'm home alone, I can just do this, and I just yelled, like no words and like specific, just like different tonalities and like trying to push my voice to the limit.
Yeah.
And it felt really good. But then I looked at my dog and she looked really scared, so I gave her a treat.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, at least you got a treat.
Yeah.
What? I didn't think it was that bad. Question number 4. What's the longest you've ever stayed awake for, and what were the circumstances surrounding that time?
Oh god.
I have 2 stories.
Go ahead.
So I've been awake for 36 hours straight twice. The first time was because when I moved home from U of M, I just worked all the time. So I worked at Goodyear behind the desk in the morning, and I was like the sales lady or whatever. And then I would go work at Lady Godiva's at the strip club at night. And I would work from like 7 to 4:30, and then go to the club from 7 to 4:30. And so there would be 4 or 5 days straight where I would just work, that's it. Like I would just work and go home and shower and go to work and go home and shower. This is before I had Charlotte was in the studio. And then another time, I accidentally tripped too hard on acid. And I worked all day. Like I'd worked like a 18-hour shift, and then I went home and took 2 hits. So it was like my roommate's birthday party, and I was up for the next 2.5 days. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
I can't really think of any interesting stories. And because I usually have an issue with oversleeping, because like sleep is just, I love it so much.
Is sleep your drug of choice?
Ooh, yeah, naps. Naps might be my drug of choice. Or just sitting and doing absolutely nothing.
Oh, I love that.
That's really nice.
Staring at the wall.
But yeah.
He's in a committed relationship with his ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, my
I
ceiling.
should look up to her.
I really do.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe my drug of choice is just listening to music and staring at my ceiling. That's pretty nice. Well, also high. But yeah, I don't really have any cool staying up for any reason stories, because usually I can fall asleep most places. So if I'm like, oh, I just need to sleep for a couple hours, I'll just do that wherever I am. But when I was a kid, I remember I stayed up for like a full 24 hours marathoning The Office.
Nice. Good choice.
And that's who I was in middle school.
So I have 2 that I don't feel super comfortable talking about live, but if after we're done, I bet I can say them in the vaguest of terms. But I'll just stick with the one, but I can talk about the other 2, but after this. So I was running a paper, and it was for a class called Wrestling with God, which was a theology class.
Okay.
Yeah, and I always wrote I got a lot going on, and that used to keep me up a lot. But compounding that with something that I put in my body, mixed with already a lot of weird religious-y stuff going on. So it was part paper writing extravaganza. Oh, there's a bumper. And part existential crisis that went on for 2 days. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, so I was really wigged out.
Yeah.
That's kind of vague, but you can piece it together.
I can piece it together and say that my experience is really, really relatable to that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, have we talked about
No.
that whole thing?
No.
So I'm not really answering these questions. I'm trying to just let it be a conversation with you guys. But so there was a time in my life where I was on Vicodin for a year straight. There were months where I was getting 120 Vicodin a month and taking them all and running out before the end of the month. And this was leading up to my having surgery And since I had a Vicodin intolerance after my surgery, they gave me Dilaudid.
Mhm.
And so when I went through Dilaudid withdrawal, I started to have withdrawal psychosis. And I quit. Ooh, sorry, something just itched my ankle. I quit everything in my life except nicotine and water. And so I quit cannabis cold turkey, and went without food or sleep for 3 days, 3 nights, and had a full-on religious experience.
Yeah.
Like complete breakdown of my entire belief system, which it was like legitimately the most healthy thing that has ever happened to me, because I had a lot of stuff that I needed to get rid of.
Yeah.
But it was like taking like a power washer to like all the spiritual gunk
Yeah.
I picked up.
That was
And it just it like the thing about psychosis and having a religious experience in the throes of psychosis while you're fasting and not sleeping is like every single belief that you have to either justify it with like logic and yes, I really truly believe this, or you have to burn it to the ground because it will not hold your weight. It will not get you out of that.
Yeah.
And so I came out of it like reborn. Like you didn't know me before then. I met Declan like 4 months after that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were one of my first friends that I met after that. That was like.
Was that when you directed The Hobbit?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
But before that I spent 3 years in bed. I just didn't get out of bed. I was so sick. I was just messed up in a lot of different ways. But like that cleaned me up and changed me. And suddenly like, woo! I am functional. I have like a belief system that can sustain being a person. It's crazy. I love it. So that's why I am who I am today.
Yeah.
We should like sit down and like talk about that in more detail because it's really fascinating to me. All right. Question number 5 is up. Did you answer?
What?
Did you answer that? Yeah, he answered.
Oh shit, what was that question?
It was about sleep.
Oh yeah, mine was I
yeah.
just stayed up watching The Office when I was 12.
Question number 5 is, what role has death played in your life?
That's heavy.
Yeah.
Man, these questions aren't fucking around.
Do you guys have an answer?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, like kind of.
Do you want to go? Or do you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Something smells like it's burning.
French fries.
Give me 1 second, guys.
Okay.
You
I
can
gotta
keep,
think, so.
you can keep talking. I just want to make sure that nothing is going to set the apartment on fire.
So, I'm like I said, I'm a nurse aide.
Mhm.
So I've lost a lot of clients like throughout the years of like just like being in hospice or just because I do home care or whatever. And last year I lost 2 of my very close clients that I've been with for 3 years, and I'd lost my grandmother the year before. So it was like a 2-year span of like people like literally dropping like flies in my life that I loved and like cared about. And I don't know, it taught me that suffering is essential. To I think as close as, how do I word this? I don't think I would, sort of like what you were saying earlier about kind of like power washing your brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, and it's continuously happening. Like there's been a few people, I've lost 5 people this year. I try to step back and like it helps you really, really appreciate and recognize what actually matters. You know, like not the way I look and not what people think of me and not how much drugs I take and not how much money I have and not like any of that. And it's like, that's why I got my service tattoo. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth, because I am a nurse and I believe in service, but like I think having witnessed and experienced so much death that like I think loving people like you and I talked about is like the most important thing in life in general, and like whatever you can do to love people in whatever way they need, that's what death has taught me, and it's inevitable. So you know, it sucks and it rips your heart out, but you can do your best to turn that pain into something positive somewhere, you know, even if it's abstractly or adjacent to the actual point itself, but you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's where I come from. That's my answer.
Yeah. That is heavy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah. I was a nurse's aide.
Okay.
So like, yeah, like I wasn't a CNA, but I was like about the C.
Okay.
So and that was like, honestly, it wasn't the best job I've ever had. Like, there were a lot of things where like, it wasn't run super well, and like a lot of the staff were at each other's throats, and I was on third shift, and I wasn't used to it. Yeah, and I had to like, yeah, a lot of things I wasn't used to.
Yeah.
Like, but I also saw a lot of people pass, so it was like, so I don't know. It kind of got to me, like it numbed me a little bit. That year I had a really bad car crash, so like, so I was driving, the car slipped on ice, and this was a friend's car, and then it hit a post, and then spun out, and then fell on the snow on my side, so that I needed to crawl out of the passenger side on the top, and like I should have been dead.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, like just like closing my eyes as it's like going down, and then like thinking that you're gonna die, and then waking up and like not waking up, but like opening your eyes and you're unscathed. But like, yeah, so that how that actually relates was like, I think that like this was all at once. So like seeing other.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Michael,
okay.
can you open the door?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know why this is happening. I'm so sorry.
I'm listening.
Oh, that's okay.
We're all listening. It's just also the smoke alarm is going to be more of an
Yeah.
interruption.
Not what was supposed to happen.
Continue.
That it made me not want to waste my time, and it made me feel like there's a lot more pressure. Like, not necessarily like it provided any specific direction, but just like, if you want to do anything, like there's pressure because it's going to go away.
Yeah.
And then a lot less now, but I used to be pretty suicidal and skating on the edge. So I think that not always living in close proximity to it, but that made
Well,
it just made it difficult when you're constantly like thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I honestly, I haven't really experienced much death in my life. I don't have a super huge family, so it's like I'm not really close to most of like the outside, like the immediate family. I'm not super close to many of them. I've only had like my great uncle Jim pass, and then like some pets pass. And honestly, I feel like I still haven't been able to process death well, because like, I don't know, like there's always like this detachment, and anytime like I react to something, it's never like I have an emotional reaction. It's more just like I get really detached, and like I sort of remove myself and isolate myself, and like I try to deal with it, but it's like I feel like it never really feels like I can deal with it, so I just sort of like look at it very objectively, and I'm like, okay, that happened. When am I gonna feel this? You know? So yeah, so it's like I never really. I feel like I've never actually experienced, like I've always had like a lot of anxiety about friends and family dying and stuff. So like death has always sort of been like lingering in the back of my mind, and like almost like holding everyone I love like hostage to me, where it's like I feel like I'm always like on edge because I think like, oh, what if something happens? What if something happens? Partially because I feel like I don't really know how to deal with death yet, so like I feel like once it does happen, it's just gonna like totally eviscerate me, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't really know what role it plays in my life so far. So yeah. That's my answer.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe, can I like comment on your answer?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, maybe it's like, maybe that's the role itself. Like,
Yeah?
you don't know, you haven't experienced it enough to have, and death is huge, like
Yeah,
it's
it
life
is.
shattering, you know? So like you haven't experienced it enough to know how to deal with it, and that in itself, like the
Ambiguity.
ambiguity,
Yeah.
there you go, of it, like is a stressor in your life. You know
It
what I
is,
mean?
like-
Like hinders you from processing certain amount.
It's something that's just
Something
sort of
else.
yeah, it just sort of
Like-
lingers around instead of like actively interacting with my life
Right.
too directly. And when it does, like it's usually very sort of extraneous, and I can't really process it too well because of that.
Mhm.
You know, like emotionally, it's more just like a subjective thing that happened.
For sure.
That was definitely a heavy question.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful, but also
I
really.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
for
I like
sure.
these things, like
Yeah.
heavy questions.
The next question is number 6. What's a loss you've experienced that may have seemed inconsequential to an outsider, but affected you deeply, or perhaps deeper than it should have? I will say something.
Yeah.
I had this leather bracelet that my little brother gave me for Christmas, and there was one night that I won't go into detail, but either it fell off while I was at the bar, or someone stole it from me. And it might just be somewhere here in the apartment, because I like let strangers come over, and it might just be somewhere here. It might just be that I was drunk and it fell off my wrist, and it's under the couch or somewhere that I'm gonna find it when I move. But like I'd taken that off to shower, and then I put it right back on, and I haven't been able to find it, and I don't know if someone took it or if it's just lost. And that has really bummed me out. It was like this thing that I carried with me, and that I don't know, I put a lot of energy into it. It was very special. So that's the my seemingly inconsequential loss that means something to me. I don't know if context, blah blah.
Well, that makes sense.
That was a question I wanted to answer.
Yeah.
Damn it.
For me, I think it's like anything from like my childhood, like childhood toys or clothes or things that I just remember from like being a kid that like I hold on to, and then like out of nowhere it's like broken or lost, or like just something else happens to it, where it's like I'm like a really sentimental person. So like if like I have something and I hold on to it for a while, it feels like it's like almost like an extension of like my memories, and it's like I don't know, like I try to like I'll keep things and I'll try and preserve them, so it's like, oh, maybe I can like try and preserve this time in my life that was like really close to me, and so I'll like keep them in boxes or bags, and I'll be like, I hope nothing happens to it, and then like inevitably like anything, it's gonna break or it's gonna change somehow, and when that happens, it's just sort of like a very like poignant reminder of the passage of time. So like to somebody who's like, why are you crying over like that rock that like why are you crying over that rock, or like that, you know, really weird stuffed animal that you had when you were a kid that like got lost or torn or like, you know, got broken somehow, and it's like, I don't know, to me it's just like a reminder of like things fading away and stuff.
Yeah.
She went to the beach earlier, so she is tired already.
Charlotte Angel.
The first thing that came into mind was a breakup from a long time ago.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't think that's so, like, I don't think that's inconsequential, because like,
Would it have seemed inconsequential to the people who saw it happen? Like it's inconsequential to an outsider, but important to you.
no, because I think like, because that's kind of what I was thinking, was like there might be some people where it's like, yeah, so, but a lot of people just like know the experience of like, you know what I mean, like your first like,
Breakups
You
are
could-
hard.
yeah,
Everyone
exactly, like,
knows.
yeah, so after you said like toys and like things from childhood, like I played with army men a lot,
Yeah.
and then like one day, like they were there.
Yeah.
But then also I had a Mickey's Christmas. It was like where the duck, who's like greedy, I don't know.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, so I had it on VHS, and I would watch it like religiously every year.
Okay.
And then at one year, my mom was like, "All right, this is getting weird, so we're gonna hide this."
Oh
So,
no!
Yeah.
She ruined your childhood Christmas tradition.
Yeah, but I mean, it was. I mean, it was old enough where it was getting weird. But I was definitely like,
Yeah.
where's the tape?
Where's
Where's the tape? Like, give me the tape.
Yeah. That's always like the hard part about like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you're like a teenager or something. It's like just like letting go of like that innocence, but also wanting freedom at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
Like that very like Catcher in the Rye type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm struggling sort of the same way because a lot of things that would like consider a significant loss to me would probably seem like a significant loss to other people.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, it's a lot. I think just the ending of things, like friendships or plays or a good night or a happy weekend or a beach trip or just I don't know, like when you're really having like a pure, happy moment, whether it be an hour or a 6-week period where it like lights up your life, you know, or even doesn't, and it's just a terrible situation, and it totally made you rethink everything that you ever thought. But when it comes to an end, it makes me sad because like it literally makes me question how I feel about everything because certain experiences start to become norms, and then when they're not norms anymore, my brain is like, wait, no, we can't, you know.
Right.
And it freaks me out on a very deep emotional level.
Right.
So like, think like fictional friends. The day I ever leave fictional friends, I don't know. It just like it terrifies me.
Right.
And I know it'll come and probably naturally, but like,
Yeah.
it's just things like that like to normal people, it's just like life changes. It's the passing of time. It is what it is. But to me, it's like it's devastating.
Oh yeah.
You know. And maybe it is to other people, but that's my experience.
That's a good answer. Those are all good answers. I just have to say I love the change up in the format today. This is like really wonderful having like a dialogue
Yeah.
room.
It's
And
not
also
just like
have
a
this
goofy
dog on our
questions.
laps.
I kind of like the idea of like, well, the fact rather that I've never met you two, and I'm learning some of the deepest shit about
Yeah,
you.
right. It's like you have the bullshit, and we're just like getting all to like the
Yeah,
deep
that is
personal
nice.
stuff. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's my favorite phrase, like when meeting people or like dating. Like I just like to cut to the bullshit.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
the awkward small talk. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
I could like have like every date or like new friendship start with like, all right, what's the most deep personal thing I need to know about you right now, so we can feel comfortable being vulnerable around each other.
Yeah.
I think for me it depends, because like there's times where like I feel like I told you about this, but like resting friend face, where like but it's like instead of looking like you don't
like
want
resting
to talk,
bitch face.
yeah, but
Like the opposite?
yeah, like the exact opposite. So it's like people want to come up to you and talk
Oh, yeah.
to you.
Oh yeah, the trust aura.
Yeah,
That's what me and Michael call it.
yeah, and it's like, and it can be like just exhausting.
Yeah.
Because like.
Because you don't want the cashier at the Circle K to tell you her life story.
And
Yeah.
her date went
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah. At the same time, though, like, because I have that too, where like sometimes like people will just start talking to me and start divulging like really personal stuff.
They'll accost you on the street and say, hey, do you want to give me some advice? And it turns out that advice means money. Which is an experience that we had walking back from Doc's story tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
That really
Oh,
happened?
that guy gave us a whispered 5-minute monologue. It was insane. Anyway, I'm sorry.
But shit, what was I talking about?
You were talking about people just like
Oh yeah.
walking
At
up
the
to
same
you.
time, I almost feel like I know you should never like have to be responsible for other people's emotions, but I always sort of take this role of like, all right, yeah, I'll listen to you. So you obviously have some stuff you want to get out. So I'm like, yeah, and like then I feel like it'll just make me stronger emotionally and have more perspective on the world. So it's like I usually do listen to them, even if at first I'm like, I don't feel like talking to anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually do because I feel like, it'll be better in the long run.
That's great. I do both. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day, I have like resting bitch face, and people think my puppy died. You know, like people ask me what's wrong, and then there are other days where everyone's just like, oh my god, hi.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody wants to talk all the time, and it's usually the reverse. Like when I have resting bitch face, it's usually that I'm fine. I wouldn't mind someone to come say hi to me, and then the days that I look normal, I'm like, don't fucking come near me. Like I don't want to talk to anybody
You
today.
get the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. All right. I think we're on question 7. Yes. Question 7 is fill in the blank. Blank is worth killing for, worth dying for, worth going to hell for.
One thing for all three of them.
Or one thing.
The format of the question leaves this unclear.
Killing, dying, and what?
Going to hell. I mean, take it up with Themyscira next time you see him. Oh, okay, this is gonna hurt. Maybe not. Are you gonna like get down or like just leave your ass in my lap?
Protecting someone?
Lap full of ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ass lap. Protecting someone?
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
What do you
That's I don't. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Like, let's say somebody's like shooting up a restaurant. Like, I would definitely like pull out a gun and shoot that guy back. I would probably go to hell for that. I would probably die for that. I'm literally killing for that. Something like in the name of like what's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Yeah.
Like superhero status. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Still thinking about
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I think like others, but like kind of do a limited extent, because I definitely have times where I'm like, I don't care, and like, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
you give to the point where you need to be like when you're like, I'm going to listen to people, to where like you need to be like, I literally need to take a step back, because no one's gonna look out for my interests except for me.
Yeah, right.
Which like sucks, but I feel like I need to like have that conversation with myself.
Right. Yeah.
So
But-
what would you
Hey,
kill?
Michael, you want to call Teppy?
Huh?
What would you kill Diane and go to hell
Oh,
for?
yeah.
Well,
Like,
she's just
so-
like, she's up in the face.
Yeah.
Teppy.
I
She's
think
not in the living
this
room.
this is where I was saying others to a limited extent, but like specifically like kids in my family. Like, I have little cousins, and like I love them to death, and like both like little second cousins and like little third cousins. But yeah, I just love them to death. And then there's also like a little bit, I guess, like a little bit more selfishly, just like having the effect of what you do with after you. That could happen in a number of ways. But I guess like I just, for good or for ill, like I really don't want to like be forgotten or go away. And I think that in a way, like, we're all living lives that are gonna like live on, and our effects are gonna live on.
So your legacy?
Yeah, right. And like I don't know if that's good or bad, but I just recognize that as a fact about myself. So I'd say kids in my family and legacy.
Yeah. The more I think about it, I just can't like think of it any more than like just protecting others and like and whatever the ramifications of that are. You know, like. Well, like also like going to hell, like that. The whole going to hell part like brings up a lot of questions. It's like I'd probably just like I don't know. Heaven seems kind of shit if it's full of people who like follow like very strict codes like to an obsequious extent. Like I don't want to be around those people for the rest of eternity. Whereas at least the people in hell sound interesting. So I'd go to hell, I think, for most things. Like I'd go to hell.
Yeah,
for,
going to
like,
hell doesn't sound so bad sometimes.
Yeah, hell sounds pretty cool. Maybe this is like an edgy thing for me to say, and like maybe like that will be what runs on in my head if there is an afterlife. Like hell isn't that bad, and I'm facing the worst things ever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really believe in that kind of afterlife, so it's like fuck
Yeah,
it,
it's
whatever.
like actually, all three of you, raise your hand if you believe in hell.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean by hell? Like the Bible textbook definition of hell, where you're like, it's like flames and fire and
Yeah, I
Satan.
guess,
and,
like-
This
like,
felt like a song lyric reference or something. Such is worth killing for, worth dying for, worth going to hell
Yeah.
for. Like it's garbage lyrics or
What are
something.
you talking about?
I,
Well, I feel like the definition of hell, especially these days, like not to tangent or whatever, but it's a favorite word of the conversation tonight, but it's ambiguous. Like
Yeah.
hell, I mean, hell to me is like last week when I couldn't get out of bed. That's hell.
Yeah.
You know, like, but if it meant if I had to go through something that put me in that state, there's definitely things that I would go through that would put me in that state for the well-being of others or whatever. So I mean, yeah, that's hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I guess if we're talking metaphorically, like when I think of like what would be hell for me, I immediately pictured like that that scene in The Deer Hunter where they're like all in where they're like being kept prisoner like underwater, and like they're being brought up to play that game where it's like they're being brought up to play like Russian roulette and stuff, and yeah, that was such like a hard scene where I'm like, yeah, that would be the worst thing that could happen to me. I feel like
I don't think I've seen that.
it's a really good movie.
Wait,
Yeah.
maybe I did, but it was like way a long time ago, so I don't remember anything about
But
it.
yeah, so like that's probably like the most famous scene is like they're forcing like all the prisoners of war to like play Russian roulette against each other, and that fucks them up in like undescribable ways. It's a really fucked up movie. But like I think like once again I think I would still do that if it meant like just trying to save things that I felt like were bigger extensions of myself, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like something you care about so deeply. And like a part of me feels like, well, should you really like care about anything other than, because like I don't know, I always have those like battles with morality, like, you know, what's the point? I don't know how to describe it, but then I think like, you know, should you live by your own prerogative? But then by living by your own prerogative, like you're sort of left with this meaninglessness, so you have to create your own meaning, and usually that meaning manifests in just like the people you care about and the things you care about. And so I feel like to preserve the sort of like freedom and like letting other people being able to live life uninhibited the way they want to and to fulfill like their full potential, I feel like personally that's what's worth dying for, is the thing that just like you build your life around.
Yeah, like if you remove that thing,
then you might as
would
well be
anything
dead.
even be worth like
Exactly.
Would your morality be worth it? Would your livelihood be worth it? Whatever happens to you, like if you remove that one thing, like I guess that's probably how I would answer it.
Yeah. It's the one thing in your life that like if it was gone you wouldn't care if you were dead or not.
Yeah, like you would stop caring about any of that.
You just grow totally complacent towards existing.
So, in 5 words or less, what's that one thing?
The things that keep me going. I don't know. There's so many.
So it's not one thing for you.
No. That one thing would be.
It's like a
an
package
idea.
deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of in a like. It's people. It's my dog. It's my job. It's my clients. It's
That's way more than 5 words.
the sunshine. Right.
Yeah.
So I can't. It's just so many things that it's just like the things that keep me going.
Right.
I couldn't pick one.
Yeah, I can't really think of, because I think like if I lost all the people in my life that would crush me, but then I think like, well at that point I would just start, I've thought this through where like if I lost fucking everything and everyone, I think the first thing I would do is I would just pack like a shitload of food and water and I'd just pick a direction and just start walking somewhere and see where I end up.
To the
Forrest
Forrest
Gump
Gump.
style?
Yeah.
I
Basically
just
do
started
that.
running one day.
Yeah, but like, and more just like I guess like I'll see what else life has to like throw at me, and maybe I find something else that gives me meaning, or maybe like I just die. So then if I die, it's like whatever. Then I guess there wasn't much left for me. But I guess just the ability to have that sort of freedom to create your own meaning. I think that's something I would die for, and go to hell for, and kill for.
Just
So
like
if somebody
you.
was like taking away your autonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's just like
Your autonomy. That's a good word.
autonomy.
Yeah.
That's what it is
the
for
word.
me.
Very good.
I guess love.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Thank
but
you
that's,
for sticking
yeah,
to
but
5
that's
words
like,
or less.
Yeah, that's like it's
Okay, in
it's,
the end, mine was
Sorry.
like just
Yeah.
Yeah. You got around to your one word.
it's kind of a cop out, but not really.
No, it's not.
No, that's a very honest answer.
Question number 8. Fill in the blank. God is.
Dad. I know this is the first thing that came to my mind.
I got one.
Hmm?
A black Irishman.
Okay.
Okay, so
Oh, there's a thing.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just making a blanket statement.
No, God
Okay.
is love and love is blind. Ray Charles is blind, Ray Charles is black. God is black. God God is present according to Catholics. Let's just assume they're right in the bread and the wine. So if he is the wine, right, then he has a really high alcohol content. So the only person that could drink that much is an Irishman. So God is a black Irishman.
Did you make this up?
I think so.
Just on the spot?
No.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that is impressive.
Like I think part of it, like I feel like I got like pieces of it from different places, but like
Is that gonna go in something?
it already
Stand
is in
right
the thing.
place.
Yeah.
It's already in a thing? Which thing?
It's in the first full length play that I wrote,
Okay.
which is like the first part of it's really good, and then it just gets really bad.
Well, it's the first.
So yeah, but
play you wrote.
so
Okay. Stevie gave it to me.
I think okay, I think I have a better question.
It's better than quoting Nietzsche.
Yeah. It's just that like God is shit. Wait, I had something.
We can come back to you.
No, wait, it's right. It's almost there. Oh yeah, I think it's that like God is the thing that you let sort of domineer your life. Like, cause I feel like no one's like a true atheist, because even if we let like something imagine what
Go ahead, I'm listening.
no, like if we let something like if we remove ourselves from all like theocratic ideas and beliefs, we still fill that void with things that, be it like objectivity or like something else, we still like have something like I feel like humans can't really live without meaning. We have to have something, whether it's like pleasure or love or I don't know, some like passion that we drive towards. It's just like we have to create meaning around something. So whether it's like this idol that we worship or a really, really good sandwich, like it's sort of like whatever you devote your life towards is sort of like your God.
So this is the like David Foster Wallace Kenyon College address everybody worship speech. Did you like come up with that on your own, or have you read
I've probably
that whole
read.
thing? And
I don't think I've read the whole
and
thing,
it
but
got,
I feel like I've
yeah.
read like some sort of like. Yeah, I feel like I remember like David Foster Wallace talking about like something like everyone has their one like.
they all have their idol, their altar. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I do. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess I.
It's from the speech that like the whole "This is water" thing.
Oh,
comes
this is
from.
water. Yeah. Okay.
It's
yeah,
from
I think
that like the longer version of that speech.
Yeah, I probably
Yeah.
got that idea from that, because like before I read that speech, that's when I was like getting really into Nietzsche, and I was like, God is dead. I'm so much cooler because I don't believe in God. And then I was like, wait, I probably do believe in God, but I just don't call it God. I just call it like the things I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
companions the Creator seeks.
Yes.
God is a black hole.
Not a black Irishman? Nope. Okay. Is that just a statement that you're going to leave where it is, or do you want to go into more detail?
That's up to you. I just think, I think it's very self-explanatory. Like, I think, sort of play off what he was saying, like, God means something different to everyone, and somehow God, even though I have issue with God, such as the same, like, in the same light as hell, you know, like, what is God? What is heaven? What is that? And so many laws and things that affect society as a whole are based on what this God thinks. And that gets to me because America, the world, but specifically America, is built on freedom of religion and freedom of belief. Yet, I couldn't marry you if I wanted to without people judging us because God says it's wrong. And God also says a lot of other things that people do every day, but we just don't give credit to are wrong. And that it just gets to me. And it's just, you can talk for days and days and days and share this Bible verse and this book of the New Testament, whatever the fuck, I don't even care anymore. And I've had so many conversations with my family about it, and like, I feel like unless you're a wholehearted believer, no one will ever quite understand where you come from. That's why I say it's a black hole. Because either you're a believer or you're not. And I think that you're allowed to believe in a higher power, but if you believe in a higher power, you don't believe in God, and you don't believe in the all-powerful thing that somehow has control over all of us, even the ones who don't believe in it. And, you know?
I hear you.
That's why.
There you go.
Can I tack on to my answer?
Yeah.
Okay. I think God is being.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, But exactly what that means, I'm not, I don't exactly know.
Well, then you have to get into like the ontological problem of what does it mean to exist and be, like.
Well, God, like, and that goes back on the same thing that you were saying earlier too. Is like God could be anything. Like, is it when you think of God, are you thinking of a person? Are you thinking of a being, or is God just simply existing in general?
Yeah.
So I guess
Is it the meaning of existence and being, or is it He is existence and being? Because they're,
Yeah, I guess it's like when you think of the one force in your life, the motivation that fuels your every single muscle movement, every action, every thought, every intention you have. I think whatever that thing that drives you to just sort of exist and interact with the world is your God,
Yeah.
So that's like the thing that controls you. Even if it's like yourself, that would mean that you're still your own God.
Yeah, like morals. That's my
Yeah.
issue with like the textbook God. I think is that it's people do good and think they're being good out of fear of God,
Yeah.
and not
So
because you just should, not because you should just you should
Yeah.
go pick up your friend and take her to the bar because she's having a bad day, because you should, not because it's a good Christian thing to do.
Well, the question then is like from philosophy of religion or philosophy of ethics maybe, is where does the should come from?
Exactly.
If there's nothing higher saying this is what you should do, have we determined that as part of a social contract, or is it something that you know in your heart?
I think that's why people choose. I think that not wholeheartedly, because I don't know why people believe what they do. I could never advocate for someone else's beliefs, but from my perspective of mine is they need somebody to tell them. A lot of people need someone to tell them what's right and what's wrong. I mean, all the studies in psychology even prove that like humans respond to authority much better and easier than they do building their own moral code.
Well, what I'm asking is more the question of
where does it come from, if not that?
If not, just in general, where does the concept of right and wrong come from?
I think yourself. I don't know. I guess I'd like to hope that humans inherently know what's right and wrong by empathy. Like if you know that this is making
But there is a right and there is a wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way it makes you feel is what determines that.
But then like lots of people have different conflicting feelings, so then like that'd be very like relativist route for like ethics to say like, one person can think like this thing is like it's very subjective, so it's like
Charles Manson had a very good internal reason for the things that he did.
Yeah, like he had a very good, like to him, like everything I'm doing is right. So it's like, I don't know. That's the reason I struggle, because like
that's true.
At like my heart, I want to think that there's like this universal moral code, but then I think like, well, we basically create our own morals out of just it's all. Yeah. So like I can't like. So then I wonder like, well, because like. But then, like, I wonder, like, why do I feel like I want there to be this universal moral thing?
Because it would be really easy.
Yeah, it would be way easier.
It would be way easier for us to relate as humans if we just all knew the same universal yes and no's.
Yeah, and that's probably where God comes in, is that...
Can we all just agree on these few things? Well, maybe not everyone in the world, but at least, like, my little circle of people,
like
we can
humanity.
all agree within this church that this is... A, B, C, and D are wrong.
Yeah, and that's why religion starts, is because people are like, okay, fuck it, just let's agree that these things are wrong, and people are like,
well, I think the simplest way of like what's right and wrong is like if you're impeding on the happiness or well-being of another, it's wrong.
So it's utilitarianism, kind of.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I guess. And like to go back to like empathy, like if I make a decision that's even self-serving. Mm-hmm. And it might not be the wrong decision if it makes me feel like a dirty feeling, not even a wrong feeling, but if it makes my soul feel dirty,
if your conscience
starts like it's something inside me that's like, this is not, I wouldn't say wrong for sake of argument, but this is not right.
Yeah.
Then I know that this is wrong. That's personally how I know.
It's the conscience.
This is wrong. It's the conscience. It's the empathy. It's the ability to. If the roles were reversed, even when people are upset at me and I think I've done wrong, I try my hardest to look in the opposite direction and say, well, do they have a right to feel the way they do? You know what I mean? So like when I make decisions that affect other people, which almost all of our decisions we make affect other people.
Sure.
How would it make me feel? You know, just the golden rule. Like how, if the roles were reversed, how would I feel? How would I react? How would this affect my life? You know what I mean? And like.
So do you think the intention matters more than the consequence?
I think the intention is everything.
So it's not like, yeah. So it's not like what you make happen so much as like this is what I'm feeling and trying to do, and even if later on I'm mistaken, like this is what I saw as being the right thing. So you gotta just follow the intention.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you follow the intention and you follow the gut with it, you know, because you can always go back and like, if you make a decision that's not, maybe you thought it was right at the time, but it wasn't. I think if you're honest with yourself about it, you know, the entire time, it's much easier to go back and fix it, and it might not be able to erase anything. And this is an ambiguous. I don't have any specific.
Ambiguous.
Yeah.
Ambiguous, but like yeah, like I think. If you just follow like your heart, you know.
So I guess so. Other question is then, do you think that that's like, so like a fancy word that you could call that is emotivism, but like just like put that in a basket because it doesn't matter. I like there might be someone watching right now that's gonna be like, no, it's not it, but like.
Are we live right now?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, we're not.
We are not live because I didn't feel like figuring out how to do that, and also because I want to save doing a live thing for a future one that I have the concept for.
Cool.
But yeah.
So like, gosh. So do you think that that's like an ethical standard for other people then? So by that I mean like, you could have someone that could look at things differently, right? So you could say like
people who don't, maybe, because I'm a very emotional person, so that's a very easy way for me to do that. But for someone who's maybe not, that's probably not.
Someone
ideal.
For someone that's less in touch with their conscience, their sense of right and wrong.
Yeah, because for some people, like, their sense of right, like, they're raised with this very individualist, like, well, I should just do what benefits myself because, you know, I build my life around pleasure because that's what makes me feel good. And it's not like I can't deny that that's what they built their existence around, but, like, then I think it's like, you know, when someone, like, does do that, you can't really justify your own morals because you both have very different objectives. Like,
I think if you,
like, at its core, like, your morals are more or less just dictated by the things you like. And it just happens to be that, like, the things and I think most people like are just, like, companionship and being friends with people and not being fucked around with and understanding. But then you have those few people who are like, yeah, but I don't really care about that.
You think that the impulse toward the morals is reducible to an aesthetic preference?
Yeah, I think so. And like, because I want there to be like some universal, like, absolutely good thing. But the more I think about it, it's more just like preference of like how you want to build your life.
So here's one. Sorry, I can ask one more question.
Yeah.
So if you have that desire, so if you have a desire for food, right?
Yeah.
And there's food to sate it. And if you have thirst, and then there's water to sate that thirst, and you want to read, and then there are books that exist to be read, then if you have a desire for there to be that one meaning, does it fly in the face of all reason and everything that you can induce about the world that it does not exist?
Well,
because like every other desire, like there exists some object that can sate it.
Yeah.
So actually, what I've been trying to say is a very good answer to this question. I think a lot of our conversation, even right now, is assuming that there is a truth.
Yeah.
That there is and you and I were talking about this the other night. I think maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was someone that night. I don't know, but we're assuming that there is a truth, that there is an answer, and there's not, because simply because of the fact that everybody does look at the world differently. Everybody looks at themselves differently. Everybody has different morals. And I think what you decide is what's right and wrong is respecting the fact that you can do what's right for you and what feels best for you and your life, so long as you're not fucking up someone else's life.
Yeah.
And you also have to respect the fact that other people might do things differently that are self-serving to them that might not necessarily fuck up your life. And that to me is like what's right and wrong. Like, I can go make love with 2 different people in one day, and a monogamous Christian relationship would, spit on that situation. But what we do makes us happy. What they do makes them happy.
Yeah.
And like what we do might be against the Bible and against what God wants. But why does it matter?
Yeah.
It's like little things like that where God is a black hole, that like so many things are highlighted in life that restrict people and humans from being like natural instincts, and it's it's asinine to me. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I guess, well, here's another question then. So we have like, we naturally have
On this episode
Yeah.
of 75
So
questions.
we have like, and I don't mean just in regards of sex, but just like everything. But like, so we have like instincts, right? But then we also have like the ability. So like, let's say like desires. Like we have desires, but then we have the ability to order and mitigate those desires.
Yeah.
And like, and that can certainly be taken away. Like you can drink a lot, and that can impair it, or like you can be asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess so where would that play in then with what you're saying?
Negative desires.
No, not negative desires, but if I were to say like, so let's like, so you could say that there's nothing, there would be nothing inherently wrong with like,
Eating a dozen cupcakes.
yeah, but then, and you were like, that will make me feel good, but then it will make me feel sick, and then you need to say,
I mean, that's just an internal battle. That's not a question there's no universal answer to that. That is one of those things that specific example, it would be an internal battle with yourself. Like, I don't know, that decision wouldn't affect anybody else.
Maybe
That
that's
would only affect you. So the decision you would make, you would have to weigh, does it make me feel better than it makes me feel bad? Okay, then I should probably eat them. Is it going to make me, like, I have that a lot with, like, pasta. I'm not supposed to eat gluten. I fucking love pasta.
Maybe
You know what I
that's-
mean? Like, but then it's, should I steal this sweater because I'm really cold and I only have $5 and I need to ride the bus home? Or should I ask them to sell it to me for cheaper, go for the one I'm clear? You know what I mean? Like, that would be more of an example, I think, of what you're trying to ask me of. The decision you make is it's completely self-serving, and it makes you feel bad and it makes you feel good, but it might affect other people.
I think this might go back to like the whole like, what are things you would look for help for? It's all just like these very like, because every it's like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It's like you understand that every pleasurable thing you do is going to be followed with some sort of hellish, like to
And vice versa.
Yeah,
I
to
think,
the extent that it's pleasurable is like going to be followed in some way by like something that is also probably hellish. Like if you love someone like so deeply, you have to understand that like once you lose them, it's gonna feel like that whole space they took up. If it's like an enormous space, the more space they take up in your mind and your heart, it's just gonna leave like this vacuum that's gonna ache forever. So it's like you sort of like have to like the things that you give meaning and that you surround your morals around is that like you sort of understand that like these things make you feel good, but they also are going to result in something bad for you or somebody else, or it's gonna like have some negative reaction. So I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it seems like it.
I just don't think there's an answer. I really
Yeah,
don't think
like-
there's
This
an
is
answer
why
to that
ethics
question.
is the worst.
Yeah.
And you have to respect, like,
the
that
most
is the answer.
frustrating.
We could argue, and, like, you have a perspective, and I respect it, and I have a perspective. And I don't feel like I don't think anybody should ever be in the position to have to defend their beliefs and defend the way they look at the world. And I think that's the answer. Like, I think there's certain things that you were saying earlier that, like, murder, rape, stealing, certain things that are, like, universal, no matter what culture you go in, this is not okay.
But we can still do that.
Human nature, yes, but it's still wrong, and they know it's like, it's those universal things that no matter where you go, it's recognized by a society that it is wrong. Beyond that, going into what things mean to you, what God means to you, any of those things, those are all questions that only you can answer for yourself and nobody else, and vice versa. And I think God is that. Like, that's why I say God is a black hole, because nobody knows the truth, and you can talk back and forth and argue your points and say, this is why I believe this, and this is why I'm right, and this is why I believe this, and this is why I'm right, and you both are right, and you both are wrong, and that's okay, you know, like, that's absolutely okay, especially with ethics, like, you have to respect that, and nobody knows, nobody will ever know, and nobody will ever be fully okay with the way someone else thinks and views and feels about what's right or wrong, because it is up to every individual person, and it's up to that person to decide whether they want to follow a societal norm and be what they believe is a good person or not. And that's for them to decide for themselves and how they want to deal with that internally with themselves. And like,
as the moderator, I am going to pop in and say that we have just set the record for longest answer of all time in 12 thoughts. That one is going to be hard to beat, and I'm going to move on because
Yeah.
that
We don't
was.
want to upload like a movie. Actually, we're almost.
We're
there.
We
We're
are
there.
almost a full-length movie at this point. So, okay, the next question is number 9. Talk about the nicest or a very nice thing someone did for you once. Oh,
Sorry.
this is recent.
recent?
Yeah. I have a friend that he's very close on a level that not many people would understand or recognize. I don't even understand and recognize it half the time. And I had a really rough week last week, and I reached out, one sentence, like, I'm struggling, you know. We don't often talk about these things. I don't often talk to anybody about these things. I don't often share this part of myself with people on that level. And literally the next time I saw him, which I think was the next day, he came into my work actually. And we hung out that night, and it was like we were with another friend, and it was totally chill, and I didn't feel like I was pressured. But yeah, as soon as we were alone, he was like, so what's wrong? Talk, don't talk, I don't care, I'm here. And I talked, and I cried, and I was the rawest I've ever been with someone in a very, very, very long time. And he did not make me feel like an alien at all. And he did exactly what I needed for someone to do, and that meant a lot to me because I'm always the caregiver. I'm always the one that people go to. I'm never, and I have friends that I could go to, but most often their response is, but you're strong, you can do this. And this person didn't do that.
Right.
He held me and said, you're weak and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're strong. And I don't know what is in your head. And I don't know if you're going to be okay. But right now it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to be broken. And I haven't had that in a really long time, and it kind of spiraled my downward spiral back upwards. And that's a lot. It's just little things like that where, like, I didn't have to ask or say, this is what I need.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a natural instinct for this person to do this for me. And, like, that's something that I had always expected from, like, a significant other. Like, those friendships don't exist unless I'm in a relationship with you because it's an obligatory right. No. There are people, and that sort of extends to, like, the friends I've made even in the last year that, like, I have found people that can pull you out of the dirt and, you know, and it's okay. And that, yeah. So that's my thing.
I was at the gas station once, and there was a guy who, I don't know, I was just having a bad day, and then I was just like, they were like, we don't accept card. I was like, what do you mean you don't accept card? Because it's like the worst gas station. It's not that bad, but it's like up there.
Cash only, please.
Yeah, like cash only, or like I went in there this morning, and I don't usually go there, but I was just, I really want coffee, and I got it. And the lady was, sorry, this is like, like the lady was like really nice, but I was like, I really gotta go. I was like trying to like go quick, but I wasn't like saying any of that. I was just like, but then like, and I was like, and I'm hungry, and they have this like French toast stick there with like sausage in the middle, but it's all burnt. I'm gonna put it in my body anyway. It's just not like the way to start the day. But anyway, I tried to get gas there and I couldn't. And there was this guy behind me, and he was just like, excuse me. And I was just like, I'm always like ready to blow up, not always, but enough. Just like from stress and things and whatever. But I, like 99.9% of the time, don't. And then he's like, here. And then he just like paid for my gas. And then I was like, oh, you don't have to. He's like, no, do it. And then he was like, keep the change. And then, yeah, so he paid for my gas, and then I went outside, and then, like, I think it was gas, or it might have been props for a play that I was in, which were like Coca-Colas. And then I went outside and was like, here's your change. He's like, no, man, it's a blessing.
Aw.
That's cool. Pay it forward.
Total random act. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I felt, it kind of made me feel bad because I was like,
Apprehensive to him even approaching you.
not apprehensive, just like, I'm going to yell at this person for no reason, except for I'm not going to really. I just want to.
Yeah.
And then I'm really glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really. This is probably the most recent thing that's just like sort of. I don't know. There's some. It sounds really like simple, but and like whatever, but it meant a lot to me for some reason. I work at a movie theater, and I was like doing concessions and whatever, and you know, it's like a minimum wage job, and like everybody basically just treats you like a machine, and of course when you don't run efficiently because you know you're a human, you're an emotional creature, and you can't do that. You're not meant to be a machine. People treat you like a machine still, and so then I don't know. After a while, like after a really long day, like you just sort of feel alienated and dehumanized. But there was this like one like very sweet like grandpa who looked like he just like got off work at like a construction place or something. And he was like taking his kid to the movie, and I was like. I gave him like his popcorn, so he ordered like popcorn, and I gave him like his $1 change back, and he gave it back to me, and he was just like, "No, get yourself something nice," like sarcastically, because it was just $1.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, it's just like when someone when you're used to be sort of being treated like a machine for the most part, like for a long period of time, and then someone just says like, "Hey, I acknowledge that you're a person, and that you're doing something."
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just like. Being able to like someone recognizing you as human in a position where people usually just recognize you as a machine. No, I think that was just really nice to me.
Yeah. Question number 10. What makes something funny by your personal definition?
I think I had to write a paper on this, like a little paper on this for a class I had in high school, and I came to the conclusion that humor sort of comes out of this dissonance with reality. That's like the things we find funny are funny because like there's this space that we can't really comprehend but we can relate to at the same time. And so it's like sort of that inability to really know how to react to that we sort of just like we laugh and our body's just like, I don't know how to react to this, so feel good. Yeah. So that's how it's always been for me, is just sort of like dissonance.
That explains a lot about your sense of humor.
Yeah, right?
I would agree.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my answers. Yeah.
The funny thing was that the only thing that Declan like knew about you going to this was like, Steve's coming. His sense of humor is like really close to yours.
Yeah.
Is what I told you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think things that I can relate to are funny. Like, if someone references something out of nowhere, I'm like, like I think it's the funniest thing in the world, and it's really not that funny. Or just like really dumb things, like, I don't know. I don't really know.
Dissonance.
Yeah, like that's just like it. Like
I think it's pattern recognition.
Yeah.
That like stuff that is familiar or is unfamiliar. That there's like opposite ends of the what makes you laugh spectrum.
Or like a coinky-dink.
But it all has to do with patterns. Unless you ask Garnet from Steven Universe, in which case she would say all comedy is derived from fear. Which is my favorite line in all of Steven Universe. I don't know.
I like that.
Comedy is tragedy at a distance.
Question number 11.
I'm just kidding.
What's the highest you've ever been and the lowest? In parentheses, any definition of high or low will suffice. It's another heavy one. So again, you are welcome to twist the definitions of high and low if you don't want to get super personal.
I think last fall, there was like a period of time where I was in a relationship at the time that I thought was really healthy and happy, and I thought that I was going to spend my life with him, and I loved him. I still do, but, you know, with a lot of me, and I went back to nursing school, and I was doing really good financially, and, like, it was like everything was going my way, and I had convinced myself that like, okay, I've weathered the storm. This is it. I'm happy now. Like this is what I just have to finish school and I'm gonna marry Taylor and I'm gonna have this happy life and like that was probably the highest I've ever been in my conscious awareness. Like, you know, you have moments where you're like completely elevated, but I probably don't remember half of them where, you know, so that's like one that I can really think of, which spiraled into the lowest I've ever been because then like one of my favorite sayings is like, it only takes so long before ignorance is no longer bliss. And then you start to realize that like, this person doesn't love me the way I thought he did. Nursing school is way harder than I thought it was going to be. Nothing makes me happy. Everything that I thought that my life was going to be is not. And am I okay with this? And then I'm in this giant existential crisis, which spirals into different abuses of things and objects and people and whatever in my life, and like that probably put me in the lowest low I've ever been.
So the low followed the high.
Yeah.
It was like all built. It was kind of built into it.
Well,
It sounds like, or maybe not so much built into
well,
it.
it's
more like the high was built
roller
into the low.
coaster. Yeah, because the high came because of like the low. Like the low that I was in that, you know, led me to like the storm is over to bring me to this high was a different low than the lowest I'd say I've ever been, but it is just as significant.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've been
It's like the low is the negative.
whisper on other things, you know, for sure. But yeah, I'd say overall that
I was just about to say that. It's like the low is like the negative reaction to the absence of the high.
yeah.
Yeah. Like talking about like sort of filling voids and stuff.
Like punching yourself in the face with reality.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Oh shit.
The
Yeah.
shit hit the fan.
Have you seen I Heart Huckabees?
I
It's a good
have.
movie.
We
but
should watch
it's been
it
a
together.
while.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you would enjoy it.
I'm interested in that.
I can think of like a lot of like different particular moments that were highs. So like, I went on a trip and we went to San Francisco, and like running with a friend that I had known for like a week, like through the streets to try to get back in time. And like, you know what I mean? So just like these little snapshots. So
Little
like,
peak experiences.
yeah, like yeah.
Addition after you're
I'm sorry.
I said I have an
she's
addition
got
when
something
you're
to add
done.
when you're done.
Oh, okay. Lows, like, probably after that breakup that I mentioned earlier, because that was like, it was really devastating at the time, and it was winter, and I had like really bad depression, but it was like when like at first, like, I didn't know how to deal with anything, and like, living back in Troy, not having a car, so just like needing to like sleep in like this little 2-room house, and like, you know what I mean? So I think that was part of it, and then actually when I started working, when I worked, it was adult foster care, so it wasn't a nursing home, but the second time that I did that, because I worked there for a summer, and then I needed a job, and I went back. So my girlfriend went to Germany, because she was like nannying. So I wasn't really used to like, I did a lot of things for myself, but like not absolutely, but I ended up like, I didn't really have a car. I was taking on a lot at the time, so I had like, I started off, I had 2 internships, I did have a job, and then I was going to school, and I was taking like 18 credits and like all this kind of crap, and some of it was great, but some of it wasn't, but I ended up like getting so poor that I was like looking for quarters to like take the bus, and like I put on like 20, 30 pounds. And like I got talked to early on, like people like I thought they were gonna fire me. So like I thought like people are out to get me, and like this place isn't safe. I'm up all night. Like like it was dementia and Alzheimer's too. And I'd gone to school for a long time and then
It's
didn't
not a
graduate.
place to work if you're mentally unstable.
No,
It's
not
just not.
in the middle of the night with like, yeah, and again, like a lot of my coworkers were great, but the ones that weren't. And then like went to school and then didn't past, so it was just kind of like, oh, like, I'm going along and I'm going to make something of myself, and now I'm just not. And, like, now I'm fatter. This was my perception. This isn't, like, what I think now. But, like, fatter, uglier, stopped, alone. Like, all of these things.
Mhm.
But, I mean, it ended up being really transformative. In some ways in a good way, in some ways in a bad way.
Yeah.
Humble.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I went to Seattle a couple months ago when I climbed a mountain, and it was literally, I don't even know, I didn't think of this, it was literally the highest I have physically ever been,
Yeah.
and like spiritually, like standing on top of a mountain and all you can see is like clouds and vastness and a little tiny pebble on the, that's my car in the parking lot, you know?
Mhm.
Like that was like the highest I've ever been, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have trouble thinking of mine. I know that I've had some like I always have like the seasonal effect of like winter depression type thing where it's like once like sort of like towards the second half of winter I get like really low motivation and I don't feel like doing anything. I just feel like complete garbage.
The February blues.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like and so yeah, I just like had like a lot of sort of depressive episodes where it's like I don't really like feel anything, and it's to the point where I start to like I remember this one time actually when I told the story of like my first kiss was like that one guy I was dating. I actually like broke up with him like that winter because like I got so depressed that I was convinced that like I convinced myself that I had an inability to feel human emotion and love people, and I was just like, oh god, and I felt like, well, maybe this is just depression, so I should just figure this out. But at the same time, I was like, I probably shouldn't be dating someone while I'm trying to figure this out. So like, that was a really low for me, just because I felt irritable all the time. And I just I felt irritable about everyone around me, and I just hated everyone around me, and I hated myself for hating everyone around me because I hated that I hated everyone.
Yeah.
And so it was like
It's
hate.
like
for some-
recursive.
Yeah, it was so recursive, and it just felt like complete shit, and I didn't feel like doing anything. So that sucked. I think the highest I've ever been is honestly at like being either like because I play like guitar and music and stuff, and like anytime I'm performing with that, that's like the high. Like it gives me a lot of anxiety. But anytime I like perform, or even like when I went and saw Failure with you, that was like that might have been the highest I've ever been because like music is a very deep experience for me. So like playing it live and like having it like loud and in your face and being performed in front of you is like that's like for me like the highest spiritually I get is when it's just like I'm totally immersed in sound and stuff.
That show
Yeah.
was like also the perfect balance of like energizing concert high without feeling like concert tired.
Yeah, I felt energized. I felt
Like-
like rejuvenated. It was like cathartic.
Yeah.
And plus, like, the fact that it also opened with, like, that like, mixed video that had, like,
Tarkovsky.
yeah, Tarkovsky and, like, a bunch of other, and it, like, started off with that old, like, school
Oh, yeah.
classroom that,
What
like,
was it?
it was, like, The World by Tens, and it was,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Powers
like,
of 10.
The Powers of 10, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like, this couple having, like a beach, like a picnic in Chicago, and that goes out 10 meters and then 10 kilometers, and it just keeps going out by tens to the point where it's like it's getting like out of the universe, and you start seeing like galaxy clusters and stuff, and then it zooms back into like the molecules and atoms in our skin and blood, and it's like that followed by then like clips of like Tarkovsky films,
With
and
James
then
Bond.
yeah, with James Bond, and then.
Which was, by the way, they had written, the band that we were going to see had written a score for
Yeah.
this film, and so we're listening to the music
It
we're
was a
about to
mashup
hear.
of like
Yeah.
Yeah, like science
it was
films
it was
and then
just a whole-
Tarkovsky films
yeah.
and James Bond. Because they, like, Ken Andrews, he was like, He was originally a film student.
He's
And
like,
so-
we didn't bring an opening band on this tour.
Yeah.
Enjoy this short film.
Yeah.
And it was like 45 minutes long.
Yeah, and then followed by that, they played through like one of my favorite albums, and like, yeah, I think so I think
because they played
honestly,
through Fantastic Planet.
yeah, that concert might have been like the highest for me. So it was just like
It's
totally
really something.
like amazing and cathartic. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's my answer then.
Have you ever seen Stalker?
Yeah, so that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Stalker. I really like. I've seen parts of The Mirror. I haven't finished Andrei Rublev, and I still need to see Solaris. But
Yeah.
Solaris or Stalker is like, I don't know. I started like watching that one.
Tchaikovsky is
It's-
a filmmaker.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. That one, like, I watch it and I feel like it's like a religious movie to me because it's like it's very peaceful and quiet, and it's like the way they go about it and like the dialogue they have is some of my favorite. Like the
Yeah.
conversations just between each other. Like that movie makes me think more than like any other movie ever. I think.
It's like the pacing is weird too.
Yeah.
But in a good way because I feel like we're used to things being so quick, and that like when things are paced.
Tarkovsky, he actually
Well,
like
yeah.
he said when he was making that movie, he made like the first half intentionally really slow and really like uneventful.
So it draws you into it.
Yeah. Well, he also said that like if someone leaves during this movie, then it's probably because this isn't the movie for them.
Yeah. And it's weird because
Yeah.
For any movie.
It's like almost like hypnotic, you
I
know.
almost walked out of Wonder Woman. That was not the
Oh,
movie for
really?
me. I should have walked out. No, it's just you were
Yeah.
saying if someone walks out of this movie, it's not the movie for them. That's not just true for Tarkovsky though. That's true of any movie. If you're gonna turn it off halfway through, it's not the movie for you.
Yeah.
Right now, the first time I watched Blade Runner, I hated it, and I love it now.
Really?
It's my favorite.
Yeah, Blade
All
Runner's
right.
great.
We got one more question. No, question number 12. What are you doing after this?
Hanging out here.
I think I'm gonna head to Mulligan's because Ty and Sarah and them are all headed there. You had mentioned karaoke or whatever, which is right next door.
Oh, see, I mentioned Rumors Karaoke because
rumor.
it's right next door to me,
Oh.
and also because they let younger people go into the bar there.
I was unaware. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I
You're
can't
good.
even afford rumors right now.
I can't afford anything right now.
But that's probably what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Plus, it's closer to my side of town.
Yeah.
What are you doing after this?
Probably sleep. Probably not sleep. I'm probably gonna like go home with like the intention of sleeping, and then like, oh, now my mind is like.
Stare at your ceiling.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna like.
That's
That's
what I
what I'm
do.
feeling.
I'm probably gonna do like some pacing, like click the Facebook refresh thing. Nothing's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Ever like scroll on your phone and then like you're on your laptop on Facebook and you like step away from your laptop just to go on your phone on
Oh
Facebook?
god, I hate that.
Yeah.
It's,
I
like,
do that shit all the
compulsive,
time,
like-
or I'm like sitting in front of my laptop scrolling on my phone, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even reading.
Do you have
anything.
it where it's like even impulsive, where it's just like I need something to do, and like without even thinking, you just like
Pick up your
it's
phone,
muscle
start
memory.
scrolling.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you click on whatever your
Yeah.
go-to social media app is, and you're like, wait, I just looked at this and I put it down because I wanted to
Yeah.
stop reading it because I hate it.
And then you
Like,
pick it right
Now
back
I
up.
need to do something
might-
else. Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
flip,
That's
flip,
why people
flip.
start are so fond of the fidget spinners. I think.
Yeah.
oh
It's
yeah.
just like
That's
aimless.
why I've
like
got
you
this
move-
thing.
Yeah, that's
Just
why I have my
like-
bracelet. I have this like finger condom thing on at work today
Oh yeah.
over my Band-Aid, and I have this like really bad anxiety of like I rub my hands a lot
Oh,
when
yeah.
I'm like uncomfortable, and I was like not even uncomfortable, just like I feel things I don't know what to do with them.
Right.
And,
It's just like an externalization.
In settings, yeah.
Feelings,
and I like rubbed off all of the like outside rubber on the condom on the finger
Yeah.
condom.
Yeah.
And I dropped like 4 cups in a row. Like I would go to pick it up and it would just like slip right off my
Oh,
finger
wow.
it was just like slimy.
Yeah.
Just from like constantly rubbing it because I was like, there's something on my hand I can play with, like
Yeah.
Well, the last thing that you get to do with this
You didn't
is.
tell us, did you?
Huh?
You didn't
You
tell
said you're
us.
hanging out here.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
just
that was
hang out
very
here.
brief. though.
Yeah.
So the last thing that you get to do, okay, so each of you are going to provide me with 4 questions.
Okay.
That will go into the larger 12. So whoever answers the questions next is gonna have some fun with like perspectives from 3 different people. But you get to give a message to whoever that person might be, and you don't know who they are. I don't know who they are right now.
Okay.
So, but you can say something to them if you'd like.
Could we have a message from the last person?
Yeah, but you would have to go watch this video.
Oh. We share the message now?
Yeah.
It's like an internal economy.
Yeah. And if you would like to go see Themyscira Pimple House, aka Tyler's message to all y'all, you can go skip to the end of that hour and 15-minute long video that we just beat the time on.
We beat.
Yeah.
Woo! Yay! Not by much though. With 3 people,
That's true. It's
sort of saying a lot for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Tyler interview is really something because it's just like we switched locations every time that we changed questions.
Oh, really?
That's
So
awesome.
we're like
That's cool.
we're like in his kitchen, and then we're at a different angle in his kitchen. Then we're on a roof. Then we're like in
That's
his
really cool.
roommate's room, and then we're walking to the liquor store. So it was really fun. But yeah, we got a lot of talking done over the course of the hour and 16 minutes of the interview. So. But yeah, so go ahead and share a message should you like. This is optional.
Stay golden, pony boy. Or girl.
You had trouble with this one last time. Oh yeah, I should mention, Declan is the first person to be featured in 2 different 12 Thoughts videos.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I've beat 2 different records, or participated.
We're just smashing all the records tonight.
Yeah.
Just the
My
format is
message
done.
is I win.
Declan's message is he wins. Steve?
Alright. I'm just depending on how much of that guy I want to be for the
That guy.
message. Okay, yeah, I'll just be that guy. So there's gonna be a guy in your future, and he's gonna ask you if you want decaf or caffeine. Go with caffeine.
There you go. Thanks for watching.